A lot of news surrounding the Texans. Big day tomorrow. Does CJ Stroud have enough to not just beat the Cleveland Browns, but perhaps make a run? And what weapons could he or couldn't he have? Bobby Slowik threw it out there when he was denying, confirming, whatever the hell you want to call it, talking about potential head coaching openings. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah, it's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game.
Lot going on. Few sleeps till the playoffs. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central. Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the injury report first of all. You want to start with the good news or the bad news? You a good news or are you a bad news person? Different strokes for different folks. I don't think there's a right way to go about it. We'll start with the bad news. Let's start with the bad news. And I don't know how bad it is. We'll get into it. Will Anderson, Noah Brown, Andrew Beck, Jerry Hughes did not practice. We'll get into someone else who did not practice as well, but I don't think it's that bad of news. And I actually think there was like a big misunderstanding on the internet that was actually pretty understandable. I know in today's gotcha world, that's hard to believe, but with the way it works, I think it's pretty understandable. But Will Anderson, Noah Brown, Andrew Beck, Jerry Hughes did not practice. If I were a betting man, and I am, and I'm not great at it, but this is kind of an educated bet, I would say that Will Anderson plays. I would say Andrew Beck plays, and I would not be willing to bet on Noah Brown or Jerry Hughes. Now, tomorrow's injury report will come out around 1:30. We'll get the updates on who's practicing and who's not, probably 11:30-ish. D'Amico speaks at 12:30, which you'll hear. Will he have a voice? That's another question. But we'll probably know for sure because I hate this. But tomorrow, Thursday, is Friday because the injury report usually on Friday is the one that gives you clarity, but they play on Saturday instead of Sunday. So tomorrow's Thursday, but the injury report is actually Friday. It's like a who's on first type of thing. I don't even know if half of you folks, you young cats in here, even know what who's on first is. But tomorrow, we'll get some clarity on the injury report. We'll see if Noah Brown gets out there. I anticipate Will Anderson getting out there in some way, shape, or form. And again, if I were a betting man, I've been surprised. I've been wrong before. But that would be my bets. Jonathan Grenard, his status is still unknown. He did not practice. I know that there was a like kind of a misunderstanding. I think Will Kunkel from Fox said that Jonathan Grenard had practiced, and the practice report came out and it said that he did not practice. I know there's like people on the internet that live for like, oh, hey, media, fake news, all that. Nah, that's that was an honest misunderstanding. Like people that I've talked to, I think it's an honest misunderstanding. And quite frankly, I won't go too in depth on the on like the misunderstanding part of it, but I would bet on Jonathan Grenard trying to play on Saturday. I would bet. I would bet straight up that Jonathan Grenard will play. Now how much will he play? Don't know. He was on the side, but Jonathan Grenard, I anticipate. As a matter of fact, I feel pretty confident, unless there's like some sort of setback, that Jonathan Grenard will be out there, and he will be playing. Yes, I think you can feel pretty decent about that. Now, how long, how good's he going to look? I mean, on the back of his mind, I know we don't want to think this. He is in a contract year. I know a lot of times that doesn't matter, but I mean, these guys are are human beings. But Jonathan Grenard was tomorrow is not Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday when it comes to the injury report. Chilling with Los. It's Thursday. Yes, it is. But it's actually Friday when it comes to the injury report. Try to remember that. But yeah, Grenard, you feel pretty good about him. That misunderstanding was valid, and it was actually logical thinking by Kunkel. So yes, I would bet on Grenard practicing. Guys that did return to practice. We got some good news for CJ Stroud. Robert Woods, he's back. He was trying to get his work in last week. I've been saying I would bet on Robert Woods trying to give it a go. Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason, they were resting yesterday. They're good to go. Dieter, he practiced. We'll see how he looks. And then your interior D-line, Malik Collins and Sheldon Rankins, they return to practice. Speaking of Sheldon Rankins, he's going to join my radio show tomorrow, probably around the 1 o'clock hour, as is Cal and Hannah McNair, and we'll also hear from D'Amico Ryan. So we're stacked. So Sheldon Rankins exclusive interview coming up, probably 12:40, 1-ish, 12:45, right after D'Amico. Right after he gets his work. I know he's just about that action. I've talked to Sheldon like in media scrums, but we've never interviewed him. So I'm kind of looking forward to talking to Rankins. He's kind of one of the leaders of this squad. Got a nice little vibe to him. So I'll talk to him. Jacob asks, did you find any AFC South championship gear? I'm glad you asked, sir. I'm not usually a fan of division titles, especially like BOB type division titles, but I am a fan of history. I got the hat. So there you go, the hat. And they know what's going to happen now. Cal and Hannah are going to bring some tomorrow, so I'm probably going to have multiple hats. But yeah, I would and I agree with Lazarius. Hit that like button. Go back and hit that like button. Appreciate you, L. I got the hat. The shirt's $40, man. Like I don't like a $40 shirt for me. I mean, I'm like if you want to tax me on the hat and put it at 40, then that's straight. But the hat's cheaper than the shirt, man. For me, and I know we're talking about the practice report. We've heard enough practice report, but for me, like if you're gonna if we're going 40 for a shirt, man, I gotta get like a little, like it's got to be like some sort of polo or something, or it's got to be like some sort of dry fit. They have like Nike actually has this sick ass new shirt that's like has the state of Texas and then it has Houston marked and it has the Nike and it's 35, which is a little bit more reasonable. There's always like, it's always hilarious how like there's a big difference between the 3 and 4, but those shirts aren't tight enough for $40. That's too much for me. But the hat, like 32, whatever, and it's the first division cap. I think you can get down with that. For sure. Rudy says, Landry, make more videos, please. I listen to you while driving to sue people that don't pay their loans. Okay, I see you, man. I've made over 600 since the start of last year. So we started the day before the season when I was finally allowed to do it, and we're like 600 videos deep. So we're usually going at least 1 a day, 2 a day. It's always going to be consistent. But yeah, I always got you, man. This is the place to go when it comes down. George asking what uniform they're wearing. They're going to wear the blue helmets, blue jerseys, white pants. I know some people wanted the red, but you're going to get the blue helmets, blue jerseys, white pants. So there you go. Yeah, AFC South gear was a little bit. I'm with you. The 40 $40 is rough. And it's going to go on sale. I mean, clearance probably what, like 2-3 months. The hat though is tight. So I can get down with the hat, no doubt. I will be doing I'll be doing live streams with John Harris during the draft, no doubt. John Harris, my guy, man. I text John often about the squad and stuff. I'm very happy for those guys. The new uniforms are coming out in 3 months, so yeah, that's probably smart to wait. They're coming out the day before the draft. People have asked if there's going to be a new logo. There's not going to be a new logo. I want to ask a question, and I'm pretty sure, and it's gonna go into, it is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans daily digital content. If you're not a Texans fan, be sure to subscribe. This is where you get the pulse of what's going on with the Texans, and there's actually interest there now. Can the Texans win on Saturday is a question. I think the answer is yes. I mean, I absolutely think the answer is yes. I think they got Cleveland's best shot the last time they faced Cleveland, and they had Case Keenum at quarterback. So, could the Texans lose? Yes. Like, would I bet my life on the Texans winning? No. But can they win on Saturday? I think the answer is absolutely. They're 2.5-point underdogs right now. As cool of a story as Flacco is, CJ Stroud's the better quarterback. As good of a receiver as Amari Cooper is, 265 is a little outlandish. There's a blueprint for DeMeco Ryans of what an opposing ass kicking looks like with his defense. And the Browns really have no idea what they're getting from CJ Stroud. So in a crazy way, like the biggest blessing in disguise that the Texans got, and we didn't know it at the time, was that CJ Stroud got hurt. He missed the game, and the Browns didn't get a look at him. And you ended up winning the division anyways. So, yes, I think the Texans could absolutely beat the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be easy? Hell no. They got a hell of a secondary. They got a hell of a front seven. They got leader that seems to be kind of playing with house money and taking it all in. And there just seems to be a cool vibe that goes throughout that squad. But they can absolutely win on Saturday. Now, here's my question though. And I'll ask this question after we hear Bobby Slowik, and we'll listen to what Bobby Slowik said that led to me asking this question. But Bobby got a little bit greedy. The offensive coordinator of the Texans, by the way, there's now 7 head coaching openings in the NFL. So all this talk about could Bobby leave? There's 32 teams and there's 7 openings. So over 20% of the gigs are open. So is there a chance they lose Bobby Slowik? Maybe. It's been wild. And now there's talk that Pittsburgh might part with Mike Tomlin after the year, and he might take a year off. He might end up being the Jags coach after they fire Peterson after next season. Hell, who knows? But here's although he's tired of not having an elite quarterback, so he might not want Trevor Lawrence. But here's Bobby Slowik meeting with the media types. And I didn't know Bobby was so damn greedy, and I didn't know Bobby had his eye on the prize like this. But let's just hear from Bobby Slowik. I'll let you know what the questions are, because a lot of times y'all complain you can't hear the questions. But as soon as he gets to what sparked this question, this discussion is going to elevate significantly. Here's Bobby Slowik.
Because your relationship, how you handling that? We asked the big his advice yesterday. How you handling it? Are you ready to be a head coach?
Yeah, it's really easy to handle right now. We're locked in on Cleveland. We're full speed ahead, kind of keeping our head down in the dark. That's, all that stuff. I'm very grateful. I'm thankful to the Lord for giving me this opportunity. I'm thankful to Nick and DeMeco and the Texans organization for putting me in this position. But right now I'm a Houston Texan. I'm part of this organization. I'm going to do everything I can to help us win Cleveland. And like everyone's energy right now in this organization is devoted to how do we play one more game? How do we keep just playing one more game? We really have what I believe is a special group of individuals. I know, like, offensively, there's guys in that room that I just can't imagine having to do this without. right now, and to really, as much as we can, just find a way to get 4 more games out of this. That's really all.
4 more games. 4 more games. That's what Bobby Slowik just said, which leads me to the question. Can the Texans make a run? But everyone's talking week to week. Bobby Slowik coming there, putting the coconuts on the table. 4 more games. That's what like NBA contending teams do. When they have like the countdown to 20, like on the side, and they're like checking it off. 4 more games. That's what Bobby Slowik said. Does CJ Stroud, though, have enough around him to make a run? Can the Texans make a run? Bobby Slowik said 4 more games. Goodness gracious, Bobby Slowik. Can the Texans make a run? Let's hear more from Bobby Slowik.
All of us are devoted to.
How are you supposed to be selective about this process? Taking all the interviews?
Haven't even thought about it. Like
He's
I
talking
won't,
about the
I won't have
interviews.
much information for you guys. I'm being honest. Like it's just everything right now is on Cleveland.
Coach, you've seen CJ do a lot of amazing things on the football field.
This is on CJ. CJ's amazing.
Play where he bought himself time and hit Nico.
The play to Nico, talking about on drive 10, second down. That's what we're asking about here.
Did that amaze you any?
Did it amaze you that CJ made that play? He's going to say nothing
I was
surprises me.
floored. Like you can actually see, CJ told me, you can see my reaction on tape. Like I thought it was a special play by 2 guys that are just incredible football players. When he let it go, I had an idea of what he was doing. I was standing way in the back, so I could kind of see all the eligibles. And Nico happened to break right when CJ was letting it go, but it looked like CJ maybe changed where he was going with the ball mid-throw. And when he first let it go, I thought it was just a safe throwaway. And then as it was hanging in the air, I thought it had a chance. And then Nico made an unbelievable catch. And I think I lost my mind for about 5 seconds, and guys had to get me back ready to call the next play. It was an incredible play by 2 really good players on a critical drive in the game.
How important has Nico been for you
I mean,
guys?
obviously he's been a stud. He's been a wide receiver 1. He's went out and he's performed. Anytime he has a one-on-one, he's taking advantage of the opportunity. Gotten to a point now where I think it's hard to find one-on-ones for him. And we're still trying to find ways to make sure that he's going to be able to touch the ball, whether that's down the field or that's behind the line of scrimmage. He's affected the game in both ways. He's affected the game as a down the field threat, as an intermediate threat, and then really even as a catch and run guy. He's taken such great strides just from where he was the last couple of years watching him on tape. It's been really fun to watch and be a part of, and it changes our team. You can see it spread across the whole offense in the culture of what we're doing.
You mentioned before the season, he was looking at film of Julio Jones because of the.
Talking about Nico Collins looking at tape of Julio Jones for motivation.
Do you recall any conversation you had with him earlier that maybe he could be, before you even watching him play, that he could be, a kind of.
Did you have any idea he could be good?
Yeah, I mean, I think Julio is a good comparison. I personally was never with Julio, but it's someone that's really big, really fast, really strong, has great hands, is good at routes. They're different types of players a little bit, but there's a lot of similarities there also. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Like anytime you have someone like that, and then the right kind of person, and Nico is an unbelievable individual, and they're about the right things and they put the work in. You're always excited to see what they do, and then he's far exceeded anything I think any of us could have imagined. I think that's a huge credit to him. That's a huge credit also to Ben McDaniels, and it's a huge credit to the guys we have in the wide receiver room, because I do think, as much as us coaches think we have some part in it, I think more than us, it's the players around him.
God, Bobby's the pro.
It's Robert Woods. It's
Guy's a
Noah
freaking
Brown.
pro,
It's
man.
John Mechie. It's
Look at his confidence.
It's all the guys that he's with every day that they have conversations in the
This dude's always
kind of keeping our head down in the dark. How infectious his attitude is, how much he cares about any time you're having a conversation. It's been really fun to see.
It's sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. He's always a good ass interview, and I enjoyed having him on the show when we did. This dude seems like, I mean, you can tell this guy's been to war before. He's counting down games. He's saying, yeah, we got 4 left. Look at that intensity right there. He might have something. This guy, I mean, we might be watching the end of Slowik, honestly. He might have. If I'm an owner, I might hire him. I might hire him just based on this press conference alone. Maybe I'm getting a little too carried away. Let's hear more from Bobby.
You've been working closely with Coach Nico since about 2018, I want to say. What has it been like for you just to see what he has been able to accomplish since San Francisco, and even more so in his first year with the Texans?
Yeah, it's been, I've said this before, but D'Amico's always been the same guy, and I get the feeling even when he was here as a player and everyone called him Cap, he was the same guy even back then. You just can tell the kind of person he is, how infectious his attitude is, how much he cares about anytime you're having a conversation with him, how in the moment he is having that conversation with you, and how much he cares about the people around him, and in particular when he's on a team, how much he cares about the team and the individuals in the team, not just like the team as a whole. And to be able to see him do what he's doing here and affect all of the Houston Texans, affect me, and do it all in a positive light, in a positive way, and really pull the best out of you every day in different ways. He has a lot of different motivation tactics, a lot of great ways of approaching it, a lot of great stories. He's I can't express enough how much that guy means to me. I mean, he's awesome.
You've been around the NFL since 2010, so you kind of seen the evolution of the passing game. Why is it, from your perspective, it feels like now offenses need multiple weapons to be consistently explosive, where earlier, your coach.
This is DJ talking about the evolution of the offense. I think it's DJ. I can't hear. I can only imagine how y'all feel on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd probably, if I was to throw a dart at the board right now, I'd probably say it has more to do with less predictable match-like coverage. I feel like a lot of it now, more across the NFL, there's more just zones and different versions of zones, in particular soft zones, where you can't always determine where the ball's going when teams are doing that. So sometimes I think that's part of why a lot of NFL teams have gone to so much pure progressions. Where you just go from 1 to 2 to 3, because it just simplifies that whole process. And at some point, you got to get a completion. You got to get the ball, and you can't always determine who that's to, which is, I know for us, that's why we coach, how you handle yards after the catch, how you handle transition, how you handle when the ball is thrown to you in 8 yards or less, how we're making the most of those opportunities and getting the most yards, getting vertical on that stuff. Like, we coach that a lot. Mainly because those are the teams that it's really hard to game plan against when you can't pinpoint where the ball is going, and the quarterback has to go and distribute it all the way across the field. That would be the number one thing to me.
I would say that's reflective though in y'all's makeup and y'all's personnel and having the interchangeable parts of receiver, guys who can line up in different places, and how y'all actually execute.
Yeah, that was very intentional. Coming into the season that we did that. Yeah, obviously in San Francisco, that's kind of how that offense was built. I was lucky and fortunate enough to be there kind of when that evolution happened. And we really started getting different pieces like that with guys that could play multiple positions. And really, you just see how freeing it is as someone who has a game plan, as a play caller, but also it's freeing for the quarterback. Just being able to know.
Man, he wants to play right now. This guy looks like he wants to go right now. He's ready. And I thought it was weird that people were criticizing him last game. I thought that was strange with what he had to work with. But this guy just wants to coach in the playoffs. Look at this.
Wherever I distribute this ball on my 4 reads on this play, I trust and I love all these dudes, and I want to get all of them the ball. And that's really important.
One of the biggest differences in the first game, obviously, is that CJ is healthy and back.
Biggest difference between the team with CJ healthy and last time when he wasn't.
The matchup you recently had.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the biggest difference.
Cleveland's a tough defense. You know, they're number one in like every statistical category for a reason. Obviously, our last game against them, we didn't play our best. We know that, but I think we all get excited anytime CJ's under center. You know, you can see what he does. You can see how efficient in his decisions and when he's throwing, where he's going with the ball, how efficient he is in that stuff, and in particular how much he's grown in understanding like when is the right time to be aggressive and when's the right time to just make sure I'm getting the ball out, which I thought he did a phenomenal job against Indianapolis doing exactly that, and that's something we just got to carry over into this week. Anytime you face a tough front, we got to be willing to distribute the ball pretty fast and then take advantage when we get opportunities. We got to make sure we're hitting those opportunities down the field.
Bobby, a couple of your players have mentioned that your willingness, your staff's willingness to accept their input. Like, hey, let's try.
Talking about accepting input from players.
Here, and how does that help you when you have that trust in them, they have that trust in you, that you're going to find something that's going to work?
Yeah, you know, it's. I like to talk about our offensive meetings as you know, like they're kind of truth sessions. You know, we're very real with each other, and that's me being real when I'm coaching them. If they do really well, I tell them they do really well. If they struggle, I let them know they're struggling, and I also take ownership when I think I put them in a horrible position. You know, which happens through the course of a season, and we have very real dialogue with each other. But the other part of that is, they know how to prepare, and they understand what they're watching. They know how to watch film. They know how to watch it in the right way, study in the right way, where every time we have, like, our staff has a conversation with our offense, like they're very educated in what they're saying. You know, it's something that we always are going to pay attention to because we know the work they've put in. We know the preparation they've put in, and we understand where we come from. I talk about it with CJ all the time, how fast we can get through conversations and arrive at answers of plays we want to get to because we can stay on the same page. But really, it's kind of that way with the whole offense, you know, with Robert, with Noah, with Dalton, with Nico, with really everyone across the board as skills. We all kind of see it the same way. We're on the same page. We understand the intent of what we're trying to get done. So I think it's very valuable being able to get input of what's going on the field and also them hearing our input of what we see from the sidelines.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. CJ Stroud, the only quarterback in the NFL to throw the ball as effectively and deep as often as he has without an interception. You mentioned that.
Talking about CJ's effectiveness throwing the deep ball.
Is a part of that. How else would you explain that success there?
A lot of trust in his receivers. You know, they put a lot of work in and down the field stuff post practice, and obviously we get a good amount of reps of that during practice because we do it a decent amount. But they put in work outside of just when practice is structured, which I think pays off. Our receivers have a very aggressive mindset where they know in the worst case situation when we put the ball down the field, we're getting an offensive PI. We're not letting the defense end up with the ball. And I think that builds a lot of trust. And then beyond that, I mean, he's just immensely talented. You know, like he's really good at it. And we got some receivers that are really good at stretching the field.
Last two, Sarge, and then Cole. Go ahead.
Bobby, CJ yesterday was talking about his relationship with Dalton Schultz and calling him a reliable target.
Talking about Dalton Schultz and the reliability that he has.
His relationship with George. What is the value of having a tight end that is always made available for a young quarterback?
Yeah, it's a security blanket. You know, it's I told him in training camp, I don't think he liked this term, but it's like a binky. You know, like anytime you feel like you're in trouble, you know where to look. It's just a large human being in the field that you know you trust his hands and you know is going to do whatever he needs to do to get open and separate enough for you to give him a friendly ball. And Dalton's he's the model of consistency. He every day in third down, in the run game, just all the way across the board, like he's as consistent as it gets and just endlessly putting on tape what we want as far as an eligible. And you know, quarterbacks see that. And that just builds the trust even without them talking. And then on top of that, they have a relationship off the field. You know, they have a good time talking to each other and hanging out off the field. So I think that's a lot of it is, you know, the consistency of showing on tape how often you're open and you're in the right spot and where you need to be. And then the off the field relationship only grows that.
Last one, Sarge. Coach, you know, every time you talk about the offense, not you, but every time the offense is talked about, they talk about CJ, they talk about Motor, they talk about Nico. But can you talk about the importance of how that offensive
How important is the
It's
offensive
been
line?
fun to see. You know, I mean, rarely has it felt like we've had a consistent five out there. You know, it's really been the whole offensive line room, and how they've gone out and they've performed every week. They've understood and taken to heart that, like, we're going to do everything we can to make sure our quarterback doesn't get hit. And in the run game, we're going to do everything we can to make sure Motor and DP have some holes they can run through. It means a lot to them, and it's a very different scheme than what was here before, you know, and there were some growing pains
Very
along the
different.
way,
Very,
without
much
a
better,
doubt.
by the way. Much better.
And the lack of continuity took a little
Better,
while,
sir.
but where we are now from really where we were like early in the season, watching the week 2 Indianapolis game again, and some of the other games early on, the growth across the board has been awesome, in particular in the O-line room. It's just been really fun. Like Juice Scruggs is out there playing, growing, getting better. And I mean, he took, like, it felt like 12 weeks off of football, you know, like, I mean, it's just it's a really cool room. They care a lot about each other. They care a lot about the guys they're playing with. They care a lot about the quarterback, and they make sure they do everything they can to put that on tape. Thanks, everybody.
Damn, Bobby Slowik. I'm telling you, man. He might know something. I don't know what's going on with him. He's always good. Always good. Always a lot of information and stuff, but man, he's got that playoff intensity. That's someone who knows what's going on. I don't even know if D'Amico's going to be able to talk tomorrow. Might need to let Bobby let Bobby increase his role. I'm kidding, but it is interesting when someone goes up there and say, I'm trying to extend the season, 4 games, and he starts talking like that. Can the Texans make a run? Look, I think, as if you have a quarterback, you have a chance. The problem right now with the Texans is that the guys that can make plays that can just win you games, 2 of them are banged up, and that's Grenard and Will Anderson. You have Nico, you have CJ, you have Schultz, you have Stingley, but like elite playmakers, and Cashman and Harris are playing well as well. I don't know that they have the weaponry, but look, sometimes things can end up going your way, and you never know. You win one game and then you go to the next. It's going to be hard to get healthy, but a lot of teams are going to be banged up at this point. I just think it's interesting that Bobby Slowik's got that eye of a tiger, and he's got me fired up for the game. And I damn well don't need help getting fired up, but that mofo's got me fired up, to say the very least. I thought that was a good little media availability from Bobby. A few comments before we get on out of here. Big day tomorrow. My God. Sheldon Rankin's joining the show. The McNair's joining the show. We'll hear from D'Amico at 12:30, assuming that he can talk. So after tonight, we'll have 2 sleeps till the playoffs. Get in here on YouTube, Sports Radio 610. Or get the Odyssey app. Do whatever you got to do to listen to the show of record, in town, in the loop, with myself, John Lopez, and Figgy Fig. TR says the Browns fans believe this is their year. They should. When you have an elite defense, when you have a team that seems to believe, when you have a quarterback who has the success that Joe Flacco's had in the playoffs, that you should believe. If you're the Browns, it's a really good football team. It's a really likable football team. So I would not expect anything different than that. Chilling with Los. Best case scenario, we win, Dolphins win, we beat Buffalo, and meet the Ravens in the conference championship. If we are getting ahead, I do think avoiding Baltimore in round 2 would be a big break, because they're going to be healthy. All these other teams are banged up. They're going to be healthy. And they're also better than everybody else right now. Could they lose? Yeah, but they're better than everybody else. So if Miami does pull off the upset against the Chiefs, and I think they got a chance, then the Texans would avoid Baltimore, assuming that they take care of business. So I like where your head's at. Slime season, with yes, with Tank, yes, without, I don't know, to be honest. Talking about making a run. Look, there's always going to be something like that goes down in football. Like, do you not think that the Browns would like Nick Chubb on their squad? I mean, come on. That's one of the best running backs in football. They lost Nick Chubb. Miami has had Waddle. They've lost Mostert at times. Achane. Like, They've lost some guys. Kansas City just really doesn't have a lot of weapons. But yeah, Buffalo's defense has been banged up. There's never going to be, or very rarely is there going to be a time where at this point in the season, you have all hands on deck. So I feel what you're saying. But Cleveland can be saying the same damn thing about a guy that is a way better body of work than Tank. And I like Tank. L Long, anything can happen. Remember the 99 Rams? That was the best offense in the league, though, man. They had the MVP of the league in Kurt Warner. They had, I mean, we don't need to go through the squad. That was an effing squad, though, on both sides of the rock, honestly. Paul talking about the gear. I got my hat and the shirt. It did cost me $40. It's Nike. Yeah, I saw it. Just don't know if it's one of the good Nikes. I'm a Nike guy, so it's one of the good Nikes. V Marks, who the hell is going to be our offensive coordinator in 2025? Because this guy's definitely getting a job. Probably Gerard Johnson. Although there's probably going to be a lot of coaches that would like to have Gerard. Aaron Glenn, if he gets a gig. If Johnson leaves Philadelphia, I know Sirianni worked with Gerard. I think Gerard can be selective, though. He's very respected. But hopefully, if Bobby leaves, Gerard Johnson would be the OC. But that's something you got to deal with. Like, Philadelphia is not dealing with losing their coordinator. San Francisco is. When you have a good squad, you have a good culture, you have a good coach who doesn't have an ego and lets guys come in here and do their thing, you're going to lose assistants. L Long again. Why don't the Texans have a shotgun mic and an intern to run it? It's really kind of a timely thing, and not all places do. Sometimes they do in like big press conferences. But it's actually somewhat of an inconvenience, and it's not even a run. It's just like a hold the mic type of thing. Dominic in Jersey, got to go for it now, Landry. We're on the upswing, but you never know with injuries moving forward. Dig in deep and swarm. That dude is pumped up. Stoots. If they weren't there, CJ would get killed, Landry. They're really important. The offensive linemen. No, they're important. I'm not saying that. I'm not, what are you talking about? The hell kind of stuff is that? What the hell out of here with that, Stoots? It's my boy. Subscribe to Stoots' channel. Houston football. If you don't have a Houston football subscription, you're crazy. It's better than The Athletic. It's better than the Chronicle. It's the best resource that you have. It's daily content, best daily content you could possibly get. And Stoots is doing his thing. I wouldn't say that he was if you weren't, regardless of if he's my boy or not. I think it's a subscription worth having. It's sent to your mailbox every week or every day, really. And he's there. He's on the scene. So there we go. Appreciate you for coming through. Bobby Slowik says 4 more games. Bobby Slowik getting greedy. He's got me fired up. My God, you're hired. If I'm an owner, you are hired, Bobby Slowik. But hopefully not. Hopefully we get to get Game Face Bobby for a little bit longer. He does seem to have a little bit of confidence. Tomorrow, Sheldon Rankin's on the show. D'Amico, we'll hear him at 12:30. I don't know if he's going to have a voice or not. That should be on the injury report. D'Amico Ryan's voice is questionable for Saturday. And then Cal, Hannah, and Sheldon Rankin's joining the show. It's stacked. Be sure to join me, and be sure to always remember, we got 3 sleeps till the playoff game. 3 sleeps until the Texans host a playoff game. If you're out there, come by, say hi. I'll be making my way around. I'll be in the press box too, but I don't like hanging out with media types too much. I can only listen to Sports Radio 610 coworkers smack their food for so much, and God, all those guys smack their food. My goodness. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. We're all in this together. It's playoff time, baby.
Yeah, it's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.